All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Pause it and then start it. Yes, I will get to Loomer. My apologies, I didn't actually docket that, and but I will actually talk about that. That'll be one of the news topics of the day. Why is my Twitter still open? Oh, yeah, I'm live, even on Twitter. Omri record, DUI, financial trouble, what we know about suspect in New Orleans attack. I suspect he was radicalized, but they're going to talk about other things. Oh, he was just sad in life, you know? Well, yeah, he lashed out against the system, against the United States, and was basically an ISIS sympathizer. We now know that, so they're basically begging the question at this point. Biden to honor Liz Cheney with Presidential Citizens Medal. I'm going to talk about how fucking insane this is. I have a feeling he's backstabbing the Democratic Party again. Liz Cheney is not necessarily the most well-liked among Democrats, being a Republican, the daughter of a Republican vice president, having been part of a campaign that monumentally failed. So, yeah, I have a feeling that this is a pointed message from Joe Biden. Dan Crenshaw got into it with a rock star with John Rich. I think that's more country, and it doesn't even make any sense. So we're going to go through that. Dan Crenshaw has been a huge disappointment. We'll get into that. It's basically Eye Patch McCain, people call him. Laura Loomer has been targeted, it seems, by Twitter, along with other content creators for basically, algorithmic demotion. I know this feel. Not on Twitter, though. It's odd. Twitter seems to have no problem with me. My audience is growing steadily there. The number of people, joining the Twitter page or channel or feed or whatever the hell you'd call it. My problem is more with YouTube than anything else. But for what it's worth, how Bidenomics sank Kamala. I'll be refuting this particular article. That's going to be my particular position. Massive outage leaves nearly 90% of Puerto Rico customers without power. I believe it's down to about 20% now. But it speaks to something that actually was talked about during the last political campaign. People were saying that Donald Trump was evil and racist against Puerto Ricans because he pointed out that Puerto Rico has problems. It clearly has problems. I remember when liberals were attacking the state of Texas because they had a major power outage after a disaster. In Puerto Rico, you do not require a disaster in order to be without power. So we'll get to all of that and much, much more. Let's see. Nowlands. The Copium Poppies. Greetings! We wanted to let y'all know that we have unleashed a new music video upon the world on Christmas. The powers that be would not be pleased if you watched it and became assimilated into our subcount. Just saying. Yes, subscribe to the Copium Poppies over on YouTube. And a follow-up, Dan Crenshaw really needs to clean sand out of his skull vagina. It's making him irritable. Yeah, I can give him respect as having been a veteran. I can't really give him any further respect, though. It's pretty much impossible. This year has already become much more weird than the last year. I pointed this out this morning. I don't have a lot of energy at the moment. My insomnia kicked in terribly last night, by the way. It's not due to sickness. I've pretty much gotten over that. I'm still a little bit stuffy, but generally speaking, as a general rule, good. But my body tends to kick the shit out of viruses and bacteria. I've already pointed this out. But my insomnia, for some inexplicable reason, I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not even dawn. And I couldn't get back to sleep, so I'm like, fuck it. I wandered around for about an hour and a half and then passed back out and managed to get a couple more hours of sleep. But yeah, I'm a little bit on the tired side. Cooking Inferno. How bad is the wind where you are? Fucking nasty here in New Hampshire today. It's quite bad. Last Beacon. Honestly, I'm getting so sick and tired of Dan Crenshaw. I think that you speak for the majority of people in the conservative movement. You certainly speak for most of us independent voters as well. Copium poppies. There's no "the" in copium poppies. Lol. Well, yes, but you are the copium poppies. So just pointing that out, linguistics, it's important. The Happy Plague Doctor. Why are YouTubers always sick? God damn, I didn't get sick for half a decade other than getting food poisoning from a bunch of snails that I got from the Albert Heijn that time. I think it might have been my fault, though. I might have undercooked them or something. I'm not 100% sure. And yes, BL, yes, I found a South African lawyer. This is not about me, by the way. I do not have a legal case in South Africa or anything like that. This is on behalf of somebody else. I'm just trying to help. I have loyalty to those that I care about. Just saying. Always have, always will. Last beacon. Also, a little bit of tech news I found. A 2 terabyte micro SD card from SanDisk. I mean, that is just weird, at least from my perspective. Goodness. Have I even used a micro SD before? I don't know. So let's talk about the New Orleans attack. I'll be in New Orleans in only a few days. I'm going to party hardy, and then I have to go to a court arraignment, actually. I'm not sure whether they'll formally charge me or not. It doesn't really matter in this particular case. I'm not going to talk about my case, by the way, but I will be in New Orleans. Army record, DUI, financial trouble, what we know about suspect in New Orleans attack. Have you noticed, this is from the USA Today, that a lot of the arguments that are made by the legacy media and a lot of their headlines strenuously avoid mentioning the ISIS flag that he happened to possess? I have noticed this. I have become a noticer. ISIS flag? That's not really newsworthy, but he had an Army record. He was in the Army and was charged with DUI at one point. What relevance does this have to the attacks? When you drive a pickup truck with an ISIS flag on the back of it through a crowd of people in a crowded area, there might be a fairly legitimate argument to be made that that's connected to the reason why you killed them. Instead, they're focusing on financial trouble. Okay, I can understand. Okay, here's what I think happened. Let me speculate. Normally, I don't do this, but let me speculate. Man joins the Army, becomes disillusioned, suffers from various problems in his life. He figures, well, I'm a veteran and stuff like that, so, I'm going to have a good career ahead of me. But then he falls on hard times. As a result of that, he starts pouting online about the fact that he's suffering financial problems. And he gets radicalized by Islamofascists. Hey, the system that you work for, they're responsible for your problems. I think that this is an Islamofascist attack. When you have an ISIS flag on the back of your pickup truck when you're running people over, it's probably related to one another because that's sort of what ISIS does, and they seem to really like pickup trucks too. The engaged few, loyalty goes a long way. Exactly. Yeah, no, this is an Islamofascist attack. That's 100% the case. I have a feeling that disgruntling happened before he was radicalized, but that doesn't mean that it didn't have to do with Islamofascism. It's fucking bullshit. Last Beacon says, ping us multiple times. How many pinguses are there today? I believe that's 29 pinguses. It's a lot of pinguses. Cooking Inferno. A lot of MSM is still reporting that the Cybertruck merely caught fire. Yeah, I know. Talked about that earlier, too. It's fucking horseshit. Yeah, that was a terrorist attack on Trump Tower in Las Vegas. Obvious terrorist attack. Exom, you seem to rarely get sick. What's the secret? I chem myself up constantly. I drink so much caffeine that nothing can survive in my system. Copium Puppies. Congratulations to our singer. An order for major accomplishment. After like a year or two, he has finally finished playing Fallout 3. His new goal is beating the Halo franchise. Goodness. Wasted. Good morning from the grave. I somehow managed to hallucinate the death of George Soros and Dick Cheney over New Year's. Must need more sleep. I could use some more sleep. I'm probably going to have a nap later. Certainly after having the hot dogs and hot big beans, man, I'm probably going to pass out. So yeah, we see the legacy media is kind of covering this story up with regards to the New Orleans attack. And again, there are several accomplices said to still be at large, which means that when I go down there, I'm going into the lion's den. How fun. If I wasn't protected by evil magic, I would be worried right now. Biden to honor Liz Cheney with Presidential Citizens Medal. The second highest civilian medal will also go to Representative Benny Thompson, who led the investigation with Cheney into the January 6th Capitol attack, which wasn't really much of an attack when you think about it, because mostly it was grandmas taking selfies, it seems. This is a bad idea. Now, let me put aside the ethics. The ethical side is their investigation was effectively persecution. The J6ers should be exonerated completely. They should be pardoned because most of them are nonviolent offenders anyway. A lot of them were pressed into making plea deals. This happens more often than not within the legal system. If you do not have the money for a decent attorney, chances are you're going to end up accepting a plea deal. Until then, you will be remanded into custody and you will be held possibly without bail at all because the legal system is completely fucked up. For instance, in my case, if it weren't for Jeremy, I'd be in a jail cell right now. You wouldn't even be hearing from me. You have to have somebody on the outside to actually get you the bond. Otherwise, you're pretty much fucking fucked. It makes no sense. We punish people without having found them guilty at all. I used to believe that the justice system operated on the following basis. You are innocent until proven guilty, or at least proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is not actually the way it works, I am sad to report. Not in criminal cases. So the J6ers have been held for years under effectively conditions that were so bad originally that the U.S. fucking Marshals forced them to move some of these people from the jail to other locations because the conditions were so goddamn bad. Some of them have been held in solitary for months at a time. And now now Joe Biden is honoring Liz Cheney with the Citizens Medal. But beyond the ethical side, there's also a politically pragmatic side. This is a terrible look for Joe Biden and for his administration. I mean, at this point, I think he stopped. Here's what I think is happening. He stopped giving a fuck because he got backstabbed. They wouldn't back him. They forced him out, and now he's backstabbing the Democratic Party. That's what I think is happening. He no longer has any fucks to give. If anything, this sort of thing, which is going to alienate every independent voter in the country and half the liberal voters, if anything, I think that it's a pointed message to the Democratic Party, you shouldn't have fucked with me. Honestly, I think that's what he's doing. I'm still a little bit congested, but I've pretty much gotten better. Last speaking, I say this because it just shows that I'm getting old because I got me a 2 terabyte external hard drive for my PS4 and they managed to squeeze that into a micro SD card. Yeah, you're talking to the wrong person for technology, as you may have noticed. I'm just waiting for the day I can actually have a gaming Android tablet that will be comparable to most mid-range to high-range gaming PCs. Well, you won't have to wait very long. I say this because I would love to see SFM or Blender on Android. Scott Steiner, happy World Carnivore Month. Eat meat. Yeah, exactly. We'll be talking about Anton later. Yeah, baby. Eat meat. I still find it funny that vegans believe it is ethical to exterminate vermin and birds to protect their soy, avocado, and almond plants, but not okay to eat them. Yeah, there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. You are correct, sir. Let's see. Journey. Speaking of ping us, do you like the Sonic movies? I've never seen any of them. Copium Poppies. Fun fact, if you play the audio for our new music video in reverse, it may or may not open up a portal to hell. I don't need a song to do that. I've been having some fun lately with, well, we won't talk about that on a live stream. Ozzy's Robots. They stopped selling McRibs. Weird things happened. Oh, how sad. I've never had one. Harrison Bergeron. Freedom is free. Government makes it expensive. Yes, exactly. Sigil. You thought the justice system was fair? LMAO. Someone's never heard of actor Harry Connick. What the hell was that glitch? Junior's father, Harry Connick Sr., the most corrupt DA in New Orleans history, possibly in all of U.S. history. No, I never thought the justice system was invariably fair, but I figured at the very least the process has to follow the basic code of the Constitution. I learned differently. Not just a string, Biden. You took your shot and missed. Oh, no, wait, you know, the thing. Yeah, come on, man. Corn Pop took his shot and he missed. Then I took a shot at him and I missed. Then I wrapped a chain around his neck. The fact that anyone plausibly believes that somebody who went on that kind of ranting screed actually won the 2020 election is very sad to me. Wasted. You just know the leftists will downplay it when they storm the Capitol this coming 6th. I don't even think it's a likelihood. It's more of an inevitability. Yeah, leftoids will riot when Trump takes office. I don't think it'll be on the 6th, though. I think it'll be a little bit later. The engaged few. I would go full carnivore, but I can't give up Three Sisters stew or grits. Yeah, I hate grits myself. When you have grits in jail and they are completely unsalted and unseasoned because they conform to Michelle Obama's nutritional standards, then you'll know what hell really is like. I'm going to force feed it to everyone when I get back home. Close-up of the officer's weapon in New Orleans. This is John Rich. He's I believe, a country music singer. What is that pink stuff all over his rifle? Because we have that now famous picture of the shooter's rifle, or it appears to be the shooter's rifle. And it appears to have been, recolored. It's like custom or something like that. I think somebody pointed out that it looked like a Call of Duty rifle. I've never played Call of Duty, so I have absolutely no clue. Dan Crenshaw decided to retort, and he probably shouldn't have done so. He's gotten massively ratioed, by the way, as a result of this. Another useless comment from a one-hit wonder while families are mourning. Sit this one out, John. Stop looking for attention in a time like this. It was then pointed out to him that, number one, John Rich has several highly charted songs. I have never heard any of them, so I can't necessarily vouch for that. And also that Dan Crenshaw tried to get him to actually play at a rally for Dan Crenshaw. He has gotten ratioed into oblivion on this. Oh, man. There are so many goddamn retorts here. Dan, be careful. You may be a no-hit wonder soon. You are nothing more than a grifter. I'd love to see your primaried. Texas, this is a challenge. What do y'all say? Somebody has a picture of a pacifier with a dick on it. Here you go, you big fucking baby. Then they've got a picture of him as Hillary Clinton with an eye patch. Despises the people. Fake conservative. Uniparty first, America last. Rhino. Dan Crenshaw. Didn't vote to impeach Mayorkas the first time. Signed letter against the 8 who vacated McCarthy. CR ×3 attended Klaus Schwab's WEF YGL class 2004. HR 7024 adding 1.5 trillion to our deficit. Minibus. Insider trading. He's the Nancy Pelosi of Republican trading. He does remind me a little bit of like a young veteran version of Nancy Pelosi that happens to have an R after his name. And they've been going at it, by the way, after this. The one-eyed blunder. I love that one. I'm fucking reposting that. The one I just simply said resign. Dan Crenshaw is a goddamn embarrassment. When he first got in, it's like, okay, combat veteran, he's got an eye patch, so it kind of makes him look cool. You know, probably could fight really well. He's been in combat and stuff. He's just become, he immediately sold out. It's really sad, too, because he's got the look. If he had decided not to turn to the dark side, he would be on the short list along with Vance and a few others for the next Republican primaries for 2028, but he blew it. He completely blew it. Jin Darren, have you watched Smiling Friends? Ever even heard of it, actually? I have no clue what that is. Ozzy's Robots, DEI has killed a lot of Americans. Absolutely, it has. Viking Woman 1988, Happy New Year, y'all. Clank, clank. Last Beacon, honestly, I really wish there was going to be a left-wing January 6th, just so that the Never-Trumpers can shut the hell up and go back into the background where they belong. I don't wish that because I don't wish for any violence or anything like that. There were people that died that day. The only one that was directly killed happened to be one of the protesters, though. Sigil Stone, my God, check your Twitter DMs. I sent you something that'll make you laugh your ass off at the absurdity of it. All right, let me check it. I'm checking. We'll get to our sponsors in a minute, too. This may or may not load. You never really know. Let's see. What did he send? Joseph Fritzl demands house with basement as criminal plans for his release. Notorious Austrian incest rapist Joseph Fritzl could be released from prison this year, and he has reportedly made a shocking demand for his new home to be near a train and to have a basement. No, he's probably just trying to be creepy at this point, but it's Europe and doesn't particularly surprise me. If you're going to get put in prison, the best place to get put in prison is Scandinavia, though. There you've got like a music room and a piano and shit like that. Wasted. Dan Crenshaw, his whole career is an eye patch and being a veteran. Last Beacon, yeah, they should be exonerated, but our conservative and liberal mindsets are still warped in a 9/11, post-9/11 worldview. Agreed. In short, if you attack a federal building, you are going to be labeled an enemy of the state. I'm an enemy of the state. I'm just not a violent person. I do not like the state. I think that people should be left alone. It doesn't make me want to bomb something, though. The Dashing Rogue. Religion of special needs is an ideology, not a religion. Yeah. John Diamond. Nothing much to say here except Happy New Year. Nice to see the beard is back. Yeah, I look a little bit weird without the beard. I admit to that. Let's get to our sponsors briefly. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills, which I take every single day. Don't worry, they're not narcotics or anything like that. Just shit. I spilled them all. Oh, shit. The top came off. I don't want to lose my mushroom pills. I need those. Jesus Christ, especially the immune renew. I think this one actually boosts energy just as much as the radiant, so it's pretty good stuff. You should check them out. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, important for the bibliophile in your life, keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons with the Ouroboros logo, of course, and much more. There's glassware available there as well. We have BiltongUSA.com. Anton can hook you up with all the best. Use code STIX10 for 10% off site-wide. He's got biltong. He's got various snacks. I would get the cabanossi myself, as well as some of the Wagyu. You can melt that into soup, and it just it melts away. It makes it so buttery and delicious. Had it once with noodles. It was great. Also got STIX Hammer cups, mugs, tumblers, and shirts available. We have Wicked Needle Embroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get STIX and Hammer hats. Several varieties and several colors are available. We have heritageheirloomseedcompany.com. You can get a seed survival bucket. And while you're growing your crops, you might get your hands a little bit dirty, of course. I never wear gardening gloves. That's why we also have Stick, Sex, and Hammer soaps, both for the men and for the ladies, both available on the site. We have websterswares.com/sticks-wares. I believe that their sale is ending soon for the Trump paraphernalia because, of course, the election is over. We also have blades available. They're very high quality. They're very sharp. They all have the Ouroboros logo on them, I am proud to say. Also, we've got beanies. That's an homage to Tim Pool. And metal straws. Still my favorite product that they've made. Like, I didn't even know that they existed other than for drinking, what's that called? That hippie drink. Fucking yerba mate, I believe it is. They think that it's non-caffeinated, but they're wrong. And you can get all of that and much more. We've also got jamandbean.com. That is jamandbean.com. We have the actual Clank Blend coffee. And I will always take a sniff every time that I show it off. In fact, I'm going to open it up later. Maybe I'll brew some or something like that. They've also got various teas. They're all extremely good. So, those are our sponsors. Ta-da! Let's see. Copium Poppies. Sticks, you should grow your beard as long as you can grow it without trimming. Go for the crazy homeless wizard look. Also, it'd be great for Halloween, so you can dress up as Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, well, if my hair starts thinning severely or something like that, I guess I'll just go Gandalf mode. I would rather my hair turn like gray early than thin early. I don't really care, but I mean, if it starts to thin badly, I'm going to shave it off and I will have a big bushy beard and I'm going to go berserker mode. Ramon C, GTC. As a Puerto Rican, I hope the GOP winning on the island will make things better. You're expecting the Republicans to make things better? Yeah, is good joke, comrade. You go to Gulag last. Ruron, Sticks, I appreciate you are willing to mention the issues with an X, especially with Laura Loomer. She is a terrific journalist and genuinely 100% America first. Yes, I don't doubt her intentions at all. I don't agree with her on every issue, but I believe that she is principled. Wasted, Enemy of the State sounds like a cool band name. Probably already is one. Yeah, let's get to Laura Loomer. She has been, to my knowledge, de-verified on Twitter, lost a bunch of subscribers, and was demonetized, and then all of a sudden lost a bunch of engagement. She's not the only person who has suffered from this. There have been a number of people who appear to have been labeled specifically by Twitter as sort of, they're unacceptable. They're a little bit too edgy. I wonder if Nick Fuentes is on that list. Probably is. I do not agree with this. While I don't endorse the idea of like the GOP Civil War bullshit, America First versus Tech Bros or something, that's unhelpful. That's not the way that you solve problems. It's not pragmatic. You also have to understand, Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire. He's the richest man in the world. He's trying to operate a site mainly for fiscal reasons. The reason why he endorsed increased free expression on Twitter was mainly to make money. It's not out of a principled ethical interest, in my opinion. Partially, yes, perhaps. But part of it is to make money. That's just the way that it is. And I don't blame him for that because, you know, you're big time, you're literally the richest man in the world. You're investing billions of dollars in this company. Of course you want to fucking make money. I don't even blame him for that. But I disagree with that particular strategy of demoting certain individuals because it reminds me, it gives me flashbacks, PTSD, about the Agrawal era, about the Jack Dorsey era, which is rather unfortunate. The reason why Twitter right now is thriving is because it became one of the only places with a significant starting audience that actually seemed to give a shit about free speech. If you give that up, by the way, that is in the long term. Short term, maybe you get more investment, more ad revenue, etc. Long term, it's a terrible idea. So I stand with Laura Loomer. and the handful of others that have been severely demoted on this. I have not been demoted, and it does seem like there's a correlation. I'm not going to lie. This appears to be the truth. There seems to be a correlation between having a decent-sized audience, so you're visible, and having criticized Twitter and or Elon Musk, and then being demoted randomly. Now, the subscriber thing could be coincidental. Sometimes you'll lose some subscribers because they randomly purge like bot accounts and they think they're fake subscribers, stuff like that. So that could be coincidental. But the removal of her verification and so forth, yeah, it's a problem, unfortunately. Last speaking, I've had McRib before. I never have, actually. Why is everyone obsessed with the McRib? Is it really that good? Like, does someone have one in the freezer and I should be, paying twice as much for it or something right now? Is it really that good? Sigil, invest in better virus scanning. You got one, and quit downloading Estonian fart porn. Oh my God. Belle of the Bayou. No, cook your own ribs. Okay. Yeah, it seems... What the fuck? God, I've got one hair that keeps poking me in the face. And it keeps distracting me because it's going right in front of my glasses. Fucking hate that shit. And I believe it's a stray gray. Why can't my gray hairs come in the normal way? Yeah, there you go. You are toast, my friend. Bye. Stop trolling me. That's what happens to my enemies. I pluck them out of my head. Copium puppies, you should go full Charlie Manson mode if your hair thins. Shaved head, crazy beard, and a swastika tattoo on your forehead. That'd be funny. McAllister 55TX. Think the USA will be okay until January 20th? Who do we have to worry about? Well, apparently ISIS. The JV team is back because of the incompetence of the Biden administration. Trump will clean that out more or less, I think. But, yeah, we've got a few weeks to go. Ringo the First. With Bitcoin down, I'm running out of money to troll you with. Candy corn, candy corn, candy corn. Fuck. Sigil Stone. The free speech only lasted until Elon got what he wanted, influenced with the incoming administration. $44 billion was the price of gaining his own entire federal department to further his interests. Kind of, sort of. I still think that he does believe in free expression. You've got to realize he fled a country, effectively fled it, in which freedom for white people is almost non-existent. I don't think that he's woke. I do think that he has some good intentions, but he also needs to make money. And so there's a counterbalance involved. Last Speakin' says, horse cum over and over again. Yeah, all right. I'm assuming that's a Tim Walz reference. Allegedly, he drank horse cum at one point for, I don't know exactly what purpose. I don't know why you would do that. JAEUFM. Hate to say it, military needs to be vetted again? Yeah, apparently. Bidenomics sank Kamala. I am going to refute this. I think that Kamala sank Kamala. I don't think it had anything to do with Bidenomics at all. The economy stupid sort of argument does hold some weight. It definitely was a drag on her campaign. But if she had been charismatic instead of completely impersonal, and if she had distanced herself from the Biden campaign instead of being rope-a-doped by Biden himself at times into being a very visible part of that campaign, I believe that Kamala Harris could theoretically have won the election. Or at the very least, she wouldn't have been totally humiliated. But she's not charismatic. She's not likable. She's not intelligent. She's a fucking retard. And so she lost in a humiliating defeat in both the Electoral College and in the popular vote. Bidenomics only played, in my opinion, a limited role. The border probably played a bigger role than the Bidenomics because she was border czar. That became a huge problem for her campaign. So I happen to disagree with this. This is Capital Matters. It's an opinion piece by Douglas Carr. Kamala Harris's campaign did not get a boost from superficially positive economic statistics, but they weren't really positive. That's part of the problem. Beneath the headlines, many Americans are experiencing financial distress. True. Under Bidenomics, the percentage of Americans whose finances worsened in the last year is near record levels previously seen only in severe recessions, a millstone for candidate Harris to bear. I agree in sum and substance with the basic premise. It definitely dragged her down, but it's not the reason that she lost. I don't think she would have gotten over the edge even if the economy had been good, because she wouldn't have been able to make a coherent argument for the fact that the economy was good, even if it were. She's just anti-charismatic. She's a psychopath. When you bring up, like if I went up to Kamala Harris tomorrow, let's say I go to DC, I see Kamala Harris on the street, she's about to go snort cocaine with Mitch McConnell. I would walk up to her and I'd say, hey, Kamala Harris, have you heard this great song by Christian Death called Dead Babies? And it's a cover of Alice Cooper. I like the Christian Death version better. She would start laughing. And she wouldn't be laughing because it's like, haha, this is irreverent and edgy. She'd be laughing because she'd be thinking about dead, mangled children, and she would genuinely find it funny. That's the read that I get from her. She's goddamn nuts. By the way, the concept that she's going to run in 2028, I mean, you can. I don't think you'd even win the primaries, though. I think you'd be humiliated by Gavin Newsom or Whitmer or somebody like that, or some dark horse candidate. You'd be better off going for governor of California because Newsom clearly intends to run for the presidency, because you might actually win there. Even then, I'm not sure. You could end up with an Arnold Schwarzenegger-type neocon Republican actually beating the former vice president with more name recognition for the gubernatorial slot in one of the bluest states in the United States. This is a plausible scenario. By the way, if that happens, I'm just going to fuck off and go live in the woods in a tent or something, because clearly the world has gone completely insane. Let's see. Last weekend, I know that you don't wish that. I just don't want there to be a point where people just shut the hell up about January 6th for the right. True. Pumpkin Fire Crafts. Happy New Year, Sticks and Clankers. Happy New Year's to you as well. Last weekend, mainly because I had to put up with it for 4 years, and all I wanted is to put it to bed once and for all. Sigil. Elon fled South Africa the same way a tick drops off a dead body. The U.S. is his new host, and he wants his proboscis deeper into an artery. By the way, did you watch Sam Hyde's Dear Elon? No. I didn't, actually. No, I think that he does have some genuinely good intentions, but he's balancing it with the fact that he's a little bit spurred out. He's got a high work ethic, and he wants a lot of money. You know, you can't ask for everything. He's not a bad person. He's just a flawed person. But we do have to point that out. We can't simply say Elon is God Emperor or something. Wasted. Dead babies can't take things off the shelf. Dead babies, yeah. Little Mary ate a pound of aspirin. I think it was Little Mary. She got it from the shelf upon the wall. Copium Poppies. Part 1. McRibs are not that good. It's a nostalgia thing combined with a McDonald's taking it off the market and bringing it back seasonally. What I have nostalgia for food-wise, and it's really only one thing. Do you remember how Pizza Hut was back in the 1990s? With all the decor and the cool cups and the much better pizza and stuff. These days, the local Domino's is better than Pizza Hut at this point. Do you remember, nostalgically, the era when they released the Star Wars trilogy? You know, they remastered it and everything like that. And there were pogs everywhere. And everyone was drinking fucking Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper and stuff. That's the one thing I think that I have nostalgia for, other than Gillingham's over in Woodstock, Vermont. Those are the only two things I really have nostalgia for. Last weekend, Stick spilled his mushroom pills. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, Roz Williams, by the way, Christian Death no longer fundamentally exists. He had left the band And for some reason, they were granted the right of the term Christian death. I'm just going to rant a little bit here because we still got a while to go. And Roz was a cool fucker. Just take one look at him. There's a reason why I would like a dude like that. He's got a great voice, long hair, tall and stuff. He was Christian Death, founded the fucking band. But then he left, and for some legal reason, they retained the name. Now, the modern Christian Death, which still I believe exists, is not Christian Death. Roz is not part of it. Totally different singing, totally different style, fucked up. Roz was an artist before he was a musician. He made a video once called Pig, actually. It was like an artsy-fartsy. He was an artsy-fartsy to a sort. It was like 30, 35 minutes long. I thought it was fun. It was very Art Nouveau. And so a lot of his music was like Shakespearean and stuff like that, like Electra Descending and things like that. He would reference Shakespeare. He would reference mythology. Very, very, very talented. He killed himself. Apparently, when he killed himself, he hanged himself in his apartment and he left roses for his friends. Well, then they fucking backstabbed him. Apparently, I think he killed himself because he was gay, so it was probably his gay lover more than his friend. Didn't want to watch a film with him. I can't remember what the film was. Roz Williams, one of the best. King of Biltong, we are constructing our own manufacturing facilities this year. Yeah, baby. Help us and your health by grabbing some biltong from www.biltongusa.com. Use code STIX10 for 10% off. Happy 2025. Glad to hear that you're doing well. Sigil, ironically, Sam brings up in his own words, even retards know that everyone's special, and he's right. I want to be amazing, got pushed for disabled kids for decades, so Elon being a spurg doesn't hold water. I do have kind of a point. King of Biltong, we stream every Friday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Shit talking whilst cooking real food. Yeah, real meat and shit. Real good shit. We cook interesting things and talk up a storm. Follow our channel, Eat at Anton's. Wasted. Sticks, is it possible to have nostalgia for a time before you even existed? I have a feeling 90% of millennials suffer from that, so the answer is yes. If so, I have a nostalgia for 70s shock rock and metal. I have nostalgia for the early 80s. I would love, if it had good Wi-Fi, like if public internet had existed in 1982, I would lock myself in that year with magic, and I would just relive it over and over again and never leave. That's basically what I would do. Or maybe 1983, because I think Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics wasn't until 83. Although that would kind of suck because it wasn't until 1990 that Enjoy the Silence, one of my favorite songs, is released. And I can't remember the year for the Psychedelic Furs' Love My Way. I think it was 83. So I think I'd probably, maybe I could go with 1990 or something like that. So you got the remnant of the 80s, you've got the birth of the 90s, but you haven't gone too far yet. And I don't think you have Pokemon at that point. Maybe. What fucking year was that? I think it was still mainly just a Japanese thing in 1990. Actually, no, that's way later. What am I fucking talking about? That was like the end of the 90s. Booty Juice, we have real food in South Texas. Don't deny it, Sticks. I agree with you. You are fundamentally, objectively correct. Yeah, Pokemon, I think, was it 95 or 96 that it was originally released in Japan? I don't know. It's the longest running fad, by the way, in fucking human history, other than maybe the invention of fire at this point. I mean, even little kids are still playing around with Pokemon. When I was in the Netherlands, Pokemon Go came out. And there was this little kid. He looked like he was fucking 8 years old. He just comes up to me randomly. Do you play Pokemon Go? I'm like, no, I don't have it on my phone. Oh, sorry. He wanted me to help him catch Pokemon or something like that. He's fucking 8 years. You're talking to a total stranger who's in his early 30s talking about fucking Pokemon. I'm like, there was a time when I could name the original Pokemon. I have no fucking clue what Pokemon they have now. No clue at all. By the way, Puerto Rico still has a remnant power outage. Originally, it was about 90% of Puerto Rico that was left without power. It was a failure of the grid. Wasn't sparked by any emergency or anything like that. The grid just fucking failed. And the hypocrisy is enormous. Liberals are missing two things. Number one, due to bad weather, Texas had a partial power grid failure and brownouts a few years ago. Gavin Newsom was among those people laughing at Texas. Ha ha ha, you can't get your shit together. It was due to bad weather. Puerto Rico suffers no bad weather. Their grid almost entirely goes down. And evincing what Trump said about Puerto Rico, supposedly losing the election because of Pennsylvania, that never happened in the process. And nobody wants to talk about it now, do they? You don't see a lot about it on the legacy media. I think there's a reason for that. Sigil, Stacy, Madonna, way before Nirvana. There was U2 and Blondie and music still on MTV. His two kids in high school think he's really uncool. Styx is preoccupied with 1985. I get the song reference, by the way. Yeah, no, I mean, if I was going to be nostalgic for any period, you're always going to have some nostalgia for when you were a little kid because you didn't have as many responsibilities, unless your childhood really sucked, and I hope it didn't, and I feel sorry for you if it did. Like my childhood, we were, on the poor side, but it was still happy. You're in a small village, you just walk to school, you get to go down to Gillingham's, and for 35 fucking cents, you could get one of those cheese wedges, by the way, as a snack. So I'd go down there, I'd get a cheese wedge and a tangerine or something for like 50 fucking cents. Lemons were like 10 goddamn cents. Damn right, as far as that goes, I'm a little bit nostalgic. Gas was 99 cents a fucking gallon. Actually, I think it dropped to 92 cents at one point, briefly. Yes, those were better times in that sense. But I don't really have a true nostalgia for it. Because there was there was public internet, but you had to be in the upper middle class in order to actually afford a computer at all at that point. So, that would be a problem. If you could be a kid forever, that would be a perfect world now, wouldn't it? As far as being an adult, though, if I could choose any particular era, I would take, I guess, 1990, because then Enjoy the Silence exists. Okay, Depeche Mode has made one of its best songs. I guess I would choose 1990, but I would overlap if I could. If I could cast a spell to form a reality, it would be 1990, but with high-speed, publicly available internet. That's what I would do. So basically, I'd be listening to Enjoy the Silence on repeat while I troll ICQ over and over for the rest of eternity. To me, that sounds like heaven, actually. Yeah, gas was less than $1 a gallon for a while there during the Clinton era. By the way, please send no more super chats. I'm going to get through these, and then I'm going to go offline. Let's see. Crossover Maniac. Just out of curiosity, have you listened to Raging Golden Eagle? No, I have not. John Diamond. This is a little different, but I'd like to give a shout out to your sponsors. You guys are great. I agree. Our sponsors are great. Copium Poppies, Part 2. However, the seasonal thing is a more recent development. It was gone for a long time. The McRib Jr. was great, though. They used the regular burger buns. I remember when Burger King had the Whopper Jr., but it had French fries layered on it. Now, you could do this yourself by simply buying a Whopper Jr. and putting French fries on it. I thought it was novel, though. And I think KFC still has the heart attack sandwich, but our local KFC... Unlike our local Domino's and Burger King, which are superb by national standards, less than middling, unfortunately. It's not the people's fault. It's obviously the corporation's fault. They work hard, but, whatever. G-Phaser. McDonald's McRibs are gross. Homemade, way more worth it. My dad one time made ribs, pork ribs. They were in the bone. He used to get it. He worked at the Holiday Inn as a chef for a number of years. And he would get these full racks of ribs on the bone. And one time he fucking cooked it off. The meat was dripping off the bone. It was so sweet. It was so tender. It was one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. Unfortunately, I don't like boneless ribs. I like them with the bone on them. I think maybe it has something to do with the marrow, making the flavor more buttery. I don't know. King Biltong, it's not that we are doing well. It's about the necessity to get out. We must move from Roanoke for long-term survivability. If we invest money to move, best to invest in ourselves. Well, I will do everything that I can to help your business by drilling up more business for you. Make sure to go to antonsusa.com. BiltongUSA.com. Oh, I think antonsusa.com is also one of the links. Make sure to, we're going to help Anton out. I do a solid for the people who have done a solid for me. I'm like a mafia man. I've got a whole skit, by the way. I want to record it. And it's basically Super Mario is gay. And his mother walks in on him getting fucked in the ass by a dude. And his friend Antonio is rambling at Mario in a thick Italian accent and telling him what the plan is to explain to his mother so she doesn't kill herself, basically, because she walks in on them and she thinks he's going to hell. And he's like, Mario, I see you were in the bedroom the other day. Your mother be all the time crying. She thinks she killed herself. We must make up a story and stuff like that. And they make up a story, basically, that it was a mafia dude raping him for extortion, basically, because Mario didn't repay his gambling debt. And then the next one, his boyfriend leaves him. And Antonio figures this out because he goes over to Mario's house and he sees ragu on the shelf. And he's like, Mario, you must be depressed. You used to make the best sauce. Why you have ragu up here? Your mafia boyfriend, he leave you. Ha, ha, ha. And stuff like that. This is my idea of humor, by the way. I wish I still had the... Redneck Ralph videos. I still don't have the other two. I took them down because I figured I might be banned. But I wish that I had kept the original files. I only kept the first one. It's really, really sad. I had one where Jeb Bush, who is the relative of Redneck Ralph, has a birthday party. And, Redneck Ralph ends up shooting an owl, but it turns out to be the Illuminati owl. And then he gets inducted into a magical ceremony, kills a few people, then on the way out steals a bunch of tobacco from Jeb Bush's tobacco plantation. Yeah, I'm sure that some people enjoyed it. If anyone has that file, if I heard that again, I would shit myself laughing. It was one of the most fun things that I've ever recorded in my life. Sigil, gambling debt instead of paying off the mushroom addiction? Come on, man. Mm-hmm. I'm a Mario, and this is my brother, Luigi Mario. Darth Corn Pop, my good sir, would you please remind me what year it is? Is it 2025 or 1860? Democrats are calling for civil war again. Rather quaint, isn't it? Not surprising, by the way. Let's see. Honey 2800. Sticks, there is one retro 80s Pizza Hut in Ohio. Well, I guess that I have to go to Ohio at some point. I'm going to be reliving the classics. I'll bring my Pogs. I don't actually have any. I did have some at the time. That fad died out pretty quick. Ozzy's Robots. What made the 80s great was lack of internet and smartphones. You went clubbing to meet people and listen to cool music, learned how to socialize. Great music, best of all time, by the way. 20s are close, by the way. The Roaring 20s, jazz movement and stuff. When I'm in NOLA, they've got live jazz all over the place. I'm going to go to Bourbon Street, too. There are parades all the time. It happens pretty much every day. It's maniacal almost. It's not surprising that some maniac would try to mow people down there because there's so many of them. I do agree about the smartphones, though. Again, please send no more super chats, everyone. Augustus Sunny, gnomes have the most powerful time magic. Check out gnomic folklore. No, the sylphs do. Crossover maniac. Elon Musk has priorities besides money. That's why he started SpaceX. He wants humanity to settle Mars, as there are better ways to make money than building rockets for going to space. We are not going to settle Mars. We may establish a couple of colonies on Mars, but we're not going to settle the planet fully. That's mainly hyperbole in order to get investment. Redane, after everything he has done to help our cause, I am willing to give Elon the benefit of the doubt for the time being. Exactly. Again, I don't agree with everything that he's saying, and I don't agree with everything that he's doing. But I'm not going to crucify the man for simply wanting to make money, and that's fucking clearly the case. He's a good capitalist. I can respect that. Dirafity, if you find yourself in North Dakota, you need to try some of the small town sausage. Also, Ashley's beef jerky. I dare to say it's better than Anton's biltong. Heresy. I preemptively disagree. Although I do like jerky, don't get me wrong. I've had Buffalo Bob's makes good jerky. I mean, if you want something more chewy. But the biltong, it's made differently. It's also really a great soup additive. It's sort of like some of the stuff that you get in Japan, like the Wagyu. If you make a noodle soup, put some Chinese cabbage in it, maybe some scallions, which you should do, and then you melt some Wagyu into that. Some of the biltong. Oh man, it's the only way that I would ever eat noodles. Normally, I'm not a noodle fan unless it's like spaghetti, because I'm Mario, not Luigi Mario. Christus Dominus, repent and accept Jesus. Denied. BW, you think Trump will be safe January 20th? It would not surprise me if somebody took a shot or something like that. He needs to double up his fucking security and double their goddamn income in order to protect himself. He cannot rely on Secret Service. I do worry about that. And that's my birthday. So my birthday is either going to be really, really great. Trump takes office. He pardons the J6ers. He pardons Ulbricht. He gets the work started on all of his other projects. I'll be very happy. Or somebody blows his fucking head off. In which case I'll be like, well, this is the worst fucking birthday ever. Well, I guess that's that. I mean, well, I know that J.D. Vance would be capable of governing things in the executive capacity. I want Trump to serve his full 4 years. I don't want the leftoids to win. I mean, they won't win in the end. They'll be completely crushed, crippled, and destroyed and ground out of existence. We will defeat them. But, Trump, he's got a family and he's not a bad person. Egotistical? Yes. Hyperbolic sometimes? Yes. But I'm no hypocrite. I mean, I'm both of those things too. By the way, if you don't have the ability of self-deprecation, I do not trust you. This is the one failing, I think, the biggest failing of Donald Trump. He appears incapable of self-deprecating. Like, I'll say something like, I would whip my cock out on the live stream right now, but you don't own a microscope. That's the sort of humor that I'm into. Or saying like, I looked in the mirror the other day and I was pondering to myself and thinking, can I turn a bunch of straight women lesbian because lesbians are pretty cool? I don't want to I won't do my live stream any longer. I don't want to cause a bulimia epidemic. I don't know. You should make fun of yourself much more often. That and grave humor should disturb people. It's hysterical. BW, that was one thing I worry about the next 4 years. Yeah, I worry about it too. But I mean, the last time, keep this in mind. There was like a 1 in a fucking million chance that he would have turned his head at exactly the right moment to avoid getting brained. He's like a cat with 9 lives. I think probably he can handle it. That's my hope anyway. Yes, Shingalinga, lesbians are guaranteed cool. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I've got to do a brief news docketing, and I don't want to run up against the quartering, and I'm fucking hungry. We've got baked beans and hot dogs tonight. So, yeah, I'm going to chow down on that. Yeah. I don't know if I even have any goat cheese, though. I love putting that on hot dogs. Try a hot dog with sweet chili and goat cheese sometime. Tell me how it feels. That's about all. Peace out.